everybody, and welcome to Blue Jays Today, where we always have something to say about the Toronto Blue Jays. I am your host, Nicholas Blaylock.
And I'm your host, Adam Peddle. And today, guys, we got an interview and an article by Shi Davidi about Ross Stripling, where he has some news and some rumors about the CBA negotiations and whether the players are getting ready for spring training or not. Before we get into it, guys, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. All right. So Ross Stripling is talking in this article with Shi Davidi about some speculations about CBA because he represents the Blue Jays in the negotiation process.
He is part of the union. Good for him. I'm happy that he's making contributions. If they're not on the field, then they're off the field. Something. So good for you, Ross Stripling. What do you have to say, bro?
Well, I was gonna say, what are some of the things that are kind of standing out to you in this interview?
Well, the title of because Sportsnet actually reported on this first, and they were talking about how he's urging the Blue Jays players to prep as if the season's going to happen. So basically, he's just saying to all these young kids, saying to everyone, he's in a few group chats. They reference the group chats a little bit, which I love to see. All the players are fond of Ross Stripling, so I'm happy about that. But it seems like Ross has kind of taken on that leadership role. He's liking the fact that he's part of the union, representing the Blue Jays, basically telling all the boys, hey, boys, let's prep as if we are going to have spring training. We are going to be on the field for April 1st or whenever the first game is. I forget when it is right now, but regular season. We are not going to miss games. Don't let this whole CBA thing, the prospect of losing money, the prospect of whatever, take away from the end goal, which is winning a World Series. Prep that's the end goal in mind.
Yeah, apparently right now he's actually working with George Springer and Kevin Biggio in a facility in Houston. So that's actually pretty cool. And depending on the negotiations, if it's still not likely going to be happening in the next 2 to 3 weeks, and we're going to have an agreement, which likely it won't be.
Right. Based on some stuff he says a little bit later. We'll get into that,
guys, because that's a little juicy. Yeah. But based on that, if they're not going to have a negotiation, if they're not going to have a deal done in 2 to 3 weeks, then they're going to do some live BP. So that's kind of what you'd start to see in spring training anyways, is those pitchers facing live hitters, doing live BP. So that's good that they're actually preparing themselves as if the regular season was going to start.
And this is on their own time, right?
This is on their own time.
This is on their own time.
No, Blue Jays aren't. The Blue Jays aren't touching them.
And you know what? Absolute respect, because frankly, this is what you should be doing right now. This is what we've been saying. It's we understand. There is a prospect right now that you're going to miss out on some baseball games, but at the end of the day, do not sink into that hole right now. End goal, boys, is we want to win this freaking World Series. We can let the Yankees and the Red Sox and the Rays and whatever sit on their asses waiting to get paid. Let's get the work in right now while we have all this extra time.
And they're kind of used to it. I think he mentioned this in the article too. They're kind of used to having this scramble approach for a spring training. You know what I mean? Since 2020, they're used to it. So this is nothing new to them. They've done it before, especially as young guys have been able to adapt so well.
If you think about a dude like Bo Bichette, like Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Kevin Biggio, these guys, since they've been in the league, it's pretty much been a whole roller coaster of are we playing? Are we not playing? Where are we playing? Are there fans in the stands? When are we starting? It's just been a crazy roller coaster. So at this point, I feel like our team is one of the most just adapted to this process. It's we were barely in our freaking home ballpark at all last year, right? So it's our boys know that things can change on a whim. So I think that we're going to be prepared for when the season does happen. If it does happen on time, which Ross Stripling then goes on to say he might not think is the case. He comes out and says, we just need to get the ball rolling. These days are so crucial. Then he goes on to say, we're at that precipice now where it's okay, we are likely to miss games, so let's dig our feet in and get ready for a fight to make this happen and make the game better, which I love at the end there, make the game better, whatever. Right. The first part, a little questionable for me, you know?
Yeah, because he's talking about the whole negotiation process and how it's going, because the MLB is using the time that we're getting closer to spring training as a tactic to get the players more frustrated. So as that's happening, the players know it. Literally, he's talking about it. So because of that, he's all right, let's dig in and let's fight back on this to make the game better. And it's you do have to weigh that out. Okay, yes, I understand you want to get the best negotiation for you. And if you go with the MLB and hey, time's ticking, let's go, time to get an agreement. You're not going to get exactly what you want. And I think that's what we're kind of seeing, especially when how they will drop the whole 6-year rookie free agent thing. They dropped that because it's we don't have time to
we don't have the time right now to do this. And I love what Ross Stripling says here too. He says we knew that the owners would use time against us. The closer you get us to spring training, the more frustrated we're going to get. We're used to not getting paychecks in these months, but now you're talking about maybe taking a second pay cut in 3 years. And that's something that I never think about. I don't think a lot of people think about, but it's these players lost out on COVID. That happened, right? And you know, I get for, you know, the Tatises or the Bryce Harpers of the world, it's not a big deal. Like, we can get by. But for some of these, like, smaller dudes, like a Ross Stripling, like some other guys, it's like, that is significant money that you were missing out on. Like, and now you're talking about maybe missing more games. How much are we willing to, like, give up here? And like, we just want to get on the field.
Yeah, like, from my personal opinion, I want baseball back as soon as possible. And I think the players do too. It's just unfortunate that this timing has been so rough, because if COVID didn't happen, they probably would have had, like, you know, they probably would have gone deep into the season without games like this year. But now, so because of COVID and they missed out on the paychecks, they're probably going to just take it, and they just want to play baseball because they know it's important. Because if they don't, it's going to hurt the game. And like you said, they want to make the game better. Well, how to get the game better? You go on the field and play baseball.
So my question to you then is, like, after Stripling comes out and says we're likely to miss games, like, blah, 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 like, we got to keep in mind that this is a public comment right now. He is a union representative. These words are chosen with a purpose right now. He understands that the MLB is going to be looking at this. Is this, like, do you think that this is, like, 100% valid, or, like, do you think that he is choosing these words a little bit, they're a little bit pointed, kind of like pushing the pressure back on the MLB, or do you think he's really being honest here? We are likely to miss games?
I think he's being honest with again, like, we're at that precipice right now. Like, we're at that, like, point where it's like, okay, like, if we can go one way or we can go the other. We can dig our feet in, we're going to miss games, or we're going to give up and we're going to take a cut or like take a cut in our negotiations. But I'm thinking more likely, like, if they are going to miss games, I'm still on the board that I don't know if they're going to miss regular season. They're going to miss spring training.
Yeah.
And because I don't think the players want it. Definitely the MLB doesn't want it. So I'm kind of leaning in that, like, they're not going to all go, okay, let's dig our feet in and let's miss baseball. I think they're not going to do that.
I hope so too, man. And Stripling did not, like, specify which games he was referring to there. He just said miss games.
We're going to miss games.
Could be just spring training. Could be regular season too. We don't know for sure.
Yeah.
The most encouraging thing here, though, is that he's telling the boys to get ready. And from my understanding, George Springer, healthy, conditioning properly, doing good stuff. The young boys doing what they need to do. So this is all positives for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be worse if he's like, guys, stay down. We're gonna do
You know? Can you imagine, boys, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. Go home,
like,
chill,
stay with your family, plan the vacay.
Exactly.
Like, Jesus Christ, man, I don't think I can handle that update.
Exactly. So I'm thinking that, you know, it's got to be within a month to 2 months. Hopefully we have a deal within that time frame, because the boys are getting ready.
Yeah, and at the very least, who knows, if the season does get cut short, if our boys are ready to go while everybody else is, like, warming up, I'll pick up a few extra dubs while you guys are getting into the rhythm. You know, let's go, guys. Let's turn this to our advantage.
Absolutely. Guys, what do you think about in the comments down below? What do you think about Ross Stripling's comments? Do you think they're valid? Do you think baseball is going to be missed? Let us know. Let us know about that.
You can also check us out on Spotify, Breaker, Anchor, Radio Public, and Google Podcasts. Please make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't done so. Also, comment down below, just like Adam was saying. $3 a month to become a Patreon member. Shout out and thank you to every single one of our current Patreon members. You guys are studs. And also, today, Jace is our code for Monkey Knife Fight. Hop onto that. You'll get some sweet deals and some sweet discounts.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching.
Go, Jays, go.
Go, Jays, go.
Nice. Okay.
I turned off my brain.